So we've just learned that the former president has posted that $175 million bond in the New York civil fraud case. Back here with the team. What do we know about this?
Yes, this bond just hit the docket. It's underwritten by Knight Specialty Insurance Company. It's a California-based insurer. It's for the total amount, the $175 million.
Which had been knocked down from the higher amount initially.
Right. Initially, he was supposed to post a bond of $464 million. He asked for a reduction or not to have to post it at all. The appeals court said that he could post $175, which is less than half, and he had until Thursday to do it. So he's done it today, signed it today. So this is now posted. That is satisfied. So it means that the New York Attorney General's office is not going to move forward to try to seize any of Trump's assets.
Which is
very good news for Donald Trump to do this. If he had not been able to post this bond, that meant that the state of New York could start seizing his property. Now, this situation is frozen for the duration, at least, of the appeal to the Appellate Division, First Department, which is a notoriously slow court. So I think this means months of no action in this case against his property. So that's good news.
The whole idea of...
All right, guys, so we got to react to the mainstream liberal media and their reaction to Trump officially stopping radical woke Attorney General Letitia James from seizing his properties by posting the $175 million bond for his New York civil fraud case, the fraudulent civil fraud case. And this bond got knocked down from almost $500 million after the court saw that, hey, you know what? This seems to be punitive, right? This seems to be punishment, and this guy hasn't even gotten a chance to appeal yet, okay? There would have been a lot of questions about how in the world would Trump get restitution if he was forced to sell his assets to pay for what clearly and obviously is a cruel and unusual punishment being levied by the state of New York against one of the Attorney General's political opponents. Okay, so again, that bond got knocked down to $175 billion. Trump has officially posted that bond, staving off any seizure of his assets. And of course, the mainstream liberal media is fuming, while businessmen like Kevin O'Leary are breathing a sigh of relief for now, okay, but still saying that, hey, you know what? We're going to stay away from New York, right? New York is not a good place to do business right now.
Fairness and transparency and the appellate system of appeal all the way to Supreme Court is what allows me as an investor to get on a plane on Wednesday night, fly all around the world to go raise $3.6 billion, tell these investors, as they have for years, trusted America, let me bring that $3.6 billion back here to do a real estate development in data centers. Now, I have removed the slide that had New York in it, because right now we don't want to talk about New York risk. Things are still a little funky chicken, as you know, and people don't want to take any risk in New York. And I'm just one investor. But believe me, that deck, everybody running around the world raising money, I'm just one of them, is not talking about New York right now. We're waiting to see how this plays out. Why take New York risk? New York did that to themselves. I didn't do it to them. They did it to themselves. This money is going to one of 7 other states where we've identified it's safe to deploy $3.6 billion, not New York.
Yeah, so again, not New York, right? New York, not a good place to do business because they may seize your assets if you are somebody they disagree with politically, okay? That is the message that Letitia James is desperate to send to potential investors in that state, which from a business perspective, from a business environment perspective, is an absolute disaster, right? It is a hellhole, okay? So I'm pretty sure that's just one of many reasons why people like Kevin O'Leary are staying away. And they're trying to send a message to the Democrats that, hey, you need to make your state a lot more business friendly if you want to continue to have business happening in your state, investments in your state. But right now, again, it doesn't really seem to be the greatest idea to invest in New York, considering how much of a disaster that state has been when it comes to being able to do business. And this Trump civil fraud case really just adds to the political risk of doing business in New York. I mean, add that on top of the high taxes, high cost of living, the high regulations, the bureaucracy, right? Once you add all these things in, again, I'm not sure if it's worth it, right? Why would you do business in New York considering how terrible of a business environment the Democrats have created in that state. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of questions about New York moving forward in the future of New York. But hey, they got illegal immigrants, right? So they'll have some cheap labor for businesses. That might be one of the only good business things or good business reasons to, be in New York, right? You can get that cheap labor. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about MSNBC, who is fuming, right? They're fuming over the fact that Trump has officially staved off having his assets seized. But before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Morgan & Morgan. This video is brought to you guys by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Did you guys know when you are seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions? Morgan & Morgan does not settle for lowball offers. They've achieved significant verdicts for victims of life-altering car crashes in the past few months. $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer. $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer. The fee is absolutely free unless you win. Did you know that you can start your claim at America's largest injury law firm in just a few clicks? It's so easy. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/black conservative, or you can click the link in the description below.
Joining me now is Tristan Snell. He's the former Assistant Attorney General for New York, who led the office's investigation into Trump University. He also is the author of the book Taking Down Trump: 12 Rules for Prosecuting Donald Trump by Someone Who Did It Successfully. Tristan, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're just pouring through the filing, but what stands out to you and what are you finding?
Well, first off, I'm still trying to get information, just as you are. I really, really hope that that's 175 million and not 175,000.
Yeah, right. It's right.
175 million was already, in my view, way too low. I think the appeals court botched this badly by allowing him to get off the hook, letting him, be able to post much less and give him more time to do it. As I've said, I think it's akin to taking a team that was going to lose a basketball game by 40 points and giving them 5 more minutes to play and lowering the hoop from 10 feet down to 6. It shouldn't have happened, and now we see where it gets us.
Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Again, imagine thinking that 175 million is too low for a victimless crime, a crime where nobody was hurt at all. 175 million too low. Oh, they gave him too much time, right? They gave him too much time. Man can't even get an appeal. Again, this is what they want, right? This is what they're openly saying on MSNBC. They're basically cheering on the destruction of one man, cheering it on in the most authoritarian way possible, right? They don't want to go through the legal process that every American citizen has the right to go through in order to protect themselves, to prove their innocence. No. Trump doesn't get that. Actually, they complain, right? They boohoo, whine, and cry about Trump getting that. Trump he's taking advantage of the legal system. He's always appealing. He's dragging things out. The trials aren't happening before the election. Why is he able to do this? We don't like it, right? This is what they say. They really do not believe that Trump should have the same rights as every other American, okay? He's exercising his ability to appeal, to challenge what's clearly and obviously a political persecution against him. And the media is crying because they can't get what they want fast enough, right? They're upset. Instead of talking about the validity of all this, instead of actually challenging whether or not, again, this is a political persecution, whether or not this is fair, whether or not this is something we should be cheering on in the first place. No. They're mad that it's not happening fast enough. Again, this is shameful. It really is.
So just to clarify for everybody, it is $175 million. So where does this take us now in this appeals process? What does it look like? What should we be expecting?
Yeah, look, there was always a chance in this situation that the court would lower the amount that Trump would have to pay. There is also a chance that they could vacate or overturn the judgment entirely. I think the odds of that are lower. I think there is an absolute mountain of evidence supporting the finding of fraud in this case. It is possible, and I would say now it looks likely, that the appeals court will lower that award down from $464 million down to something that I still hope is going to be north of $175 million. We have to remember something here, Michael. Every dollar that Trump is being asked to pay now is a dollar he shouldn't have been lent to begin with and would not have been lent were it not for all of his lies.
Again, how do you know that? How do you know it? Because, again, Deutsche Bank had a history of doing business with Trump, right? They were comfortable with doing business with Trump. In fact, what Trump said when it came to his finances really didn't matter that much, right? This is why Deutsche Bank decided that, you know what, we're just going to give our own evaluation to his properties, right? We're going to essentially knock down the valuation that Trump gives, which the bank executive admitted to during the trial that, hey, it's subjective, okay? Trump valued himself at $5 to $6 billion. We saw it more at $2 to $3 billion, but it's subjective. It wasn't really that big of a deal to us because we did our own due diligence. Okay, our bankers do our own due diligence, and we focus more not on his financial statements, but more so on the location of his properties. Okay, that's actually what they focused on more so than anything. And they also said, well, look, these financial statements are not audited, right? We know that as a bank that they're not audited. So therefore, again, we in the disclaimer, we know that, okay, well, we got to do our own due diligence. And that's what we did. Again, they were happy to land Trump as a client. They were enthusiastic about it. Okay. They made a lot of money from Trump being a client. In fact, they went from $13,000 in revenue to $6 million in revenue in 2 years, right? From landing Trump. They love doing business with Trump. So again, to say that Trump would not have received a loan if he had not put what he put, right, lied, right, on his financial documents is just a ridiculous statement. Considering how, again, Deutsche Bank did their own due diligence and they decided what they thought the properties were worth, what they thought was BS and what they thought wasn't BS, and they already had a history of doing good business with Trump. They were definitely going to give him the money regardless, right? They were going to give him the money anyways. So again, you know, these people trying to pretend like Trump got access to capital that he otherwise would not have got access to based off what was put on his financial documents is ridiculous. That's not true, right? They were going to give him the money. And in fact, they said that, hey, we'd be willing to do business with him again, right? So how is that possible? How if the bank knows that Trump committed fraud, why would they be willing to continue to do business with him? Which again, by the way, in the court documents, the bank executive admitted what Trump did was not fraud, right? That, you know, clients have their own estimates. Our estimates are conservative. We have conservative estimates, but it's subjective, okay? Subjective means that, hey, you know, this is not something that's set in stone, that opinions can vary on the topic, on the issue, in regards to the estimates, and it wasn't anything out of the ordinary or unusual, okay? That's what he said. Again, doesn't make sense.
How does this play out with other folks out there in the financial markets who are looking at this whole process, given that there are other scenarios in which Trump could be held liable? How does this $175 million bond, when the judgment was $454 million, get reconciled? What is the rest of this story with respect to the difference between what was awarded and versus what he has to put up for a bond?
Yeah, look, I think anybody who's looking to lend Trump money or underwrite anything for him right now has got to be looking at this and saying, look, what next? It's not a great situation for him overall. And if you have other different loans outstanding with him, how well is he going to be able to actually repay these? I think that ultimately he's not going to win this appeal. He might get it lowered, but I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to win the appeal against E. Jean Carroll. I don't think that's happening. Again, that could get lowered a bit. I don't think it's going to get lowered all the way to zero or anywhere close. So, if you lent money to Donald Trump, and especially given his track record, I think that might not have been the best idea.
Put that money to some other uses. So like all things with Donald Trump, how long do you think this is going to take? Is there something that, we should be looking at being dragged out, or is this something that could get turned around pretty quickly?
Yeah. Donald Trump's biggest weapon when he's trying to evade justice, and I talk about this a ton in my book, is delay. Ultimately, a lot of the things that he does, what are all these distractions, the clown car full of lawyers? What is he trying to do here? He's just trying to throw sand into the gears of justice, try to actually stop it from happening. And then he hopes that this is going to cause other things to break his way. And in the context of the election, he's hoping that it's going to allow him somehow to win and then be able to wave some sort of magic kingly wand and, monarch or dictator his way out of all of this.
Well, I mean, it's not about monarch or dictator his way out of it. It's about actually getting justice, right? And the fact that this is a political persecution, and he can say as president that when it comes to these federal cases that, hey, this is nonsense. They need to go away. Now, when it comes to the state stuff, not so much. But you can hear here, right, from this guy, again, what they're upset about. They're upset that Trump is utilizing all of his options within the legal system to delay the trials, right? To delay the process, which he has every right to do, since the whole point of what's happening to him is for it to happen before the election, right? These people are trying to fast forward it, right? They're trying to get it done quickly, okay? Faster than it usually would happen because they want it to happen before the election. Trump is using everything in his power to say, no, I want to delay it until after the election, or just flat out beat it, okay, in some cases, and they want to cry about it, right? So again, it's just so funny to me how they don't have any complaints about the fact that you have these, Democrats and these, woke prosecutors wanted to try to speed up a process that otherwise would take longer, just simply to try to affect the outcome of the election. They don't have any problem with that. But when Trump tries to delay the process so it doesn't affect the outcome of the election, oh, that's a problem, right? We so mad, right? We don't like that. Again, these people are just, wow.
So I think he is going to try to delay these appeals for as long as he can. But critically, I think the AG's office should be trying to seek expedited review of this case. Because Donald Trump has already been moving money around. He moved $40 million out of the Trump Organization to pay private legal costs that he had, a tax bill, plus some of the money that he owes to E. Jean Carroll. And he did that against a court order, in violation and basically in secret, away from the eyes of the court-ordered monitor. So there's already a clear track record here that Donald Trump is the financial equivalent of a flight risk. He is going to try to make this money disappear. And as a result, the AG's office should say, we need to move faster before all of this money is gone, and the right of the people to this money is frustrated. Justice is frustrated.
The right of the people to this money, right? AKA the right of the New York Democrats. Are they going to use the money to actually help the people? Yeah, they might use the money to help the illegals, right? But probably not the people in New York City. But again, they're upset now. They're afraid. Oh, well, Trump might hide the money. You need to hurry up and try to go after him. Hurry up and try to get him. Try to seize his assets before he's able to get rid of the cash, right? Again, these people are hilarious.
So Tristan, on that point, because he is a financial flight risk in that regard, but he does have these assets out there that we also have talked about over the last couple of weeks. Where does that money come from? What is the collateral, do you think, that's behind this $175 million bond? Because I'm sure, the folks who posted it got to attach it to something. So what does that look like?
Look, there have been a lot of reports that underwriters did not want to use his properties as collateral. We don't know exactly how this is working. It could be the properties. It could be revenue streams from the properties. It could be cash that he has on hand. My understanding is that he's not allowed to do anything that commits the stock that he has in this new Truth Social public company SPAC, that would actually be against his lockup. He's not allowed to actually get rid of any of that stock for 6 months. And I don't believe that he's allowed to have anything use that as collateral either. It's possible that some other folks who understand that wing of the Trump legal saga would be able to weigh in differently on that. But my understanding is that he cannot encumber that stock. So some combination of all of those things, we don't know. It's a mystery as to really why anybody would, given the human wreckage that he has created with all of the vendors and business partners that he screwed over, the people that he ruined by going into bankruptcy as well, you'd think that people would think twice before lending him or underwriting him a nickel. But there you go.
Well, yeah. So again, these people are upset, right? They're boohoo whining and crying. Okay, because once again, as of right now, it seems like their political persecution plan isn't working out as they wanted it to work out. So now, again, they're crying foul, right? They're trying to attack the court, okay, for basically not allowing what, again, seems to be unconstitutional, cruel, and unusual punishment against Trump. So, yeah, I mean, as of right now, Trump has basically officially stopped Letitia James from seizing his assets. As of right now, we will see what happens moving forward. But again, he's going to try to basically push back the appeals process as long as he can, in order to stop this from happening. And then, hopefully outright win the appeal. Because again, I think that this is crazy, right? This is nonsense. This is not something that we should be rooting for happening in our country. But unfortunately, here we are today in 2024. And this is what the media is doing. It really is a shame. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.